following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of Business Best, where we bring to you the best in the business and also bring to you products and services that are just a cut above the rest when it comes to leading sectors in today's current context and also, of course, Sri Lanka's current economic context as well. Now, finance. Finance is something that has been integral to our lives since the very beginning of civilization itself. But there's always this, cloud when it comes to understanding finance and understanding things related to money in general. And when it comes to banking, we never really understand exactly how to get what you're worth of, out of a bank that you always, sometimes we could be the ones that are enrolling our children onto banks and then they'd continue with that account for the rest of their lives. We never really go to explore what options are available for us. And to combat this issue, we have today a very innovative service that has tried to, landscape and completely change the financial atmosphere in Sri Lanka. And to speak with us, we have the founder and CEO of Fintech Digital, Mr. Hithesh Fernando. You have over 20 years of banking experience as well. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, Anurag.
Yeah, and to speak about your, ventures, Fintech Digital has existed for quite a while, but today I'd like to, put some more focus on your new product called AnybanQ. Now, AnybanQ and AnyFinance. AnybanQ is basically banking at your fingertips, but not how we would see it, okay, one bank has a certain digital portal and that's banking at our fingertips. But no, this is true integration when it comes to banking and power to you when it comes to choosing what's right for you when it comes to your financial adventures as well. And please explain to us a little bit, Mr. Hithesh, exactly how AnybanQ functions and what AnybanQ really is.
Yes, thank you, Anuradhi, for that explanation. And I'll start from fintech, right? So our company is Fintech Digital Private Limited. What we thought was at the initial stage, the attention to fintech has not been that great, right? So there are fintechs in the country and also there are financial technology related products in the banking sector as well. So mainly our prime products, as you mentioned, AnybanQ with Q.lk and AnyFinance with C.lk, right? So I'll focus on banks right now. So when you take a look at a lot of banks in the market, and that also comes with a lot of products. So there'll be about 1,000 plus products, many related applications, and also if you take a look at current and the year end is concerned, there are lots of offers, right? So average person dealing with couple of banks might struggle to understand what my bank offers at any point in time. And if you're changing the bank account, that also an concern. So what we have done in a very uniform manner, getting all banks into one place with all their products, easily anybody can understand and also read more features, more eligibilities, what documents needed. And also if it's your need, based on your need, you can apply for the product. So then it will directly goes to the banking portal so that it's very easy to deal with. And also we are doing multiple things at this point in time. I'm sure we can discuss.
Of course, actually we can move into that right now. Like AnybanQ and AnyFinance under Fintech Digital is something that hopes to bring, it's a one-stop shop when it comes to banks and offers and of course loans and of course other financial ventures that you have to participate as a normal, person in society. You can always access AnybanQ and it could be a one-stop shop. But before we even get to having a person to be integrated into such a system, we need to understand exactly the issue that we have in the current atmosphere in Sri Lanka, that is financial literacy. Now, that is a very controversial topic considering exactly how vague financial literacy is in Sri Lanka. Could you please just help us understand exactly how AnybanQ can help and Fintech Digital can help, promote financial literacy in Sri Lanka?
Yes. So when it comes to financial literacy, this last survey, I think before the very recent one, which was which was released by Central Bank, it was back in, I'm sure it was done back in 2014. So at that time, we were having about 35% of financial literacy. And then commendable the fact that most recent survey was released with about 50% of a financial literacy. That's not the point, right? We can say like the literacy also as we speak, whether we have defined the right way, and when it comes to financial literacy is only the paper related financial literacy on basic questions. I'm sure they have gone into those, but then again if you take a look at banking literacy, might not be even in par with financial literacy. So what we are trying to go with, improve the financial literacy by getting the banking products to the individuals and uplift their knowledge about banking. And also, as you mentioned, there are a lot of scams, right? So even right now we know what happened right very recently. Even the professionals, very literate people have also got into those scams, have invested a lot of money, and now it's debated what's going to happen to their money. And that's just one. So there are lots of scams like that. There can be cryptocurrency related scams, and even lots of young Gen Z generation might think, okay, why do we go to the banking system? Then we can look at perhaps a crypto option. But we have to question whether crypto is approved in the country, right? There are certain ways and means that central bank looking at things, and we have to abide by the regulators' views. And that's why we are getting banks as well as finance companies to give them that attention in one place, and also their products be monetized. And if, let's say for an example, I think you initially mentioned there can be an average person or even a intern or a school leaver might only have an account that the parents open as a children's savings, and that person go and just convert it, and that's the account that the rest of their life they're going to have. But why not looking at a special account, right? So there are specific women specific accounts with insurance cover, or another feature that really help you, maybe overseas education. So these are the little features that we are trying to go into detail. So we're working with banks as well to how to improve their features, and so that the end user will more be educated when they get into the banking product. So overall, it's just one place as you mentioned, and it's easily be able to get to know at once, and also apply online, so that if the account is digitally, if you can open the account digitally, then you can open the account then and there straight away.
That's a very important point as well, and I'd like to harp on that, considering now there's this, there's a notion in Sri Lanka where it's like, why should I trust another third-party application to enroll me in banks and offers and loans and other, special perks that come with banks, when I can just go straight to the bank? Like, there's this whole security option involved, and people are like, it's much easier to go and open an account in the bank. But it's true that for Gen Z and all, there's not much time, and we're of course digitally focused, and there's a convenience. But why do you think AnybanQ is the solution, despite people thinking that you can go straight to the bank? Like, just harp on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I will take you where actually the time frame that we were actually launching at that time during pandemic, right? So there were banks, and the banks didn't have sometimes a way to run the business as usual because of sudden lockdowns and sudden closures. Banking times are different, and then of course general public struggle with how to get my banking done. How can I get a basic information, right? And I might walk into banks and keep my track which bank opened this day and go to 23 different banks. Even if it's a current day and age, people actually have a lot of work and very busy. And in person, if you have to visit to 23 odd banks or 30 banks in total, we are focusing on retail,
more than a day's work.
more retail oriented banks. But there are about another 6 banks with corporate account specific. So we are currently focusing on retail bank. So for retail products, and even to go to 23 different websites in person takes a lot of time. And also when you go into that different websites, they have different ways and different user interfaces, and you might not see the rates may be in another place, features also in another place. Maybe you will not see the product at all, because average person, and we are talking about literacy issue also, and with the language, they might struggle to look at a product even online. And what we have done, addressing the literacy as well as the we have designed in a way that any average person can understand and also quickly change the language. Otherwise, it's trilingual. If you want to read in Sinhala, you can read it Sinhala and even Tamil. Just like that, it will get transferred. You can get a basic understanding without figuring out what translation is. Some banks have trilingual sites, but we have given that service, getting their products into the marketplace and giving out in a way very uniform manner. Anybody can easily understand.
Yeah, that's very important as well. But again, I'd like to actually, stress on that point where it's a one-stop shop, but it seems like it's both ways as well, where banks can register onto your platform and have customers reach you through there. Now, that's the other issue that I'd like to bring up with you. Now, earlier we spoke about, of course, how customers can be convenienced through this. Just before we go into a break, could you briefly explain to us exactly what banks can gain from your portal?
Yes, and also you mentioned about the security. I missed that, right? So there is no security concern because, and also we being a third party, and there are several third party fintech applications in the market anyway, right? So they also have some set of customers, and here the beauty is we can work with anyone. So it can be a bank, finance company, or a fintech can work with us and get their products monetized. And the fact that we are not getting any data of their customers, we will be passing, we are diverting back to them. So if bank think, okay, some banks think, why do we have to deal with or work with a solution like this? Because we have all the tools, we can work in silos, it's fine. But the fact that if you take a look at the world and how collaboration works, and if you take a look at platforms like certain travel related platforms, you will see all their hotels to air ticketing to just one place. So similarly, marketplaces be more meaningful so that some banks have not reached, if they have not reached to a specific target or target market, we may be reaching them and giving their products. So maybe one loyal bank customer might only be dealing with that particular bank, might see a different viewpoint, not harming the relationship, but they'll also be seeing some other products that they can rely on. So in future to come, of course, you will have different banks, bank accounts, different propositions, and you will not be just doing banking with one bank. So at that point in time, we will be more meaningful.
Yeah.
The fact that end user be benefited from different banks, and but the end user as a customer centric point should get the best. I'm sure banks also will believe it, because at the end customer is
definitely customer is key, of course, when it comes to that. There's a lot more to discuss as well when it comes to exactly how vast this platform is and how much you can achieve and the potential that it has. But before we do any of that, let's go in for a short commercial break. You're watching Business Best. Stay with us. Welcome back to Business Best. We were in conversation with Hithesh Fernando, who is the founder of Fintech Digital. Now, we were talking exactly about how much of an innovation your product has done when it comes to financial literacy, financial integration, and how it's banking at your fingertips. Definitely banking at your fingertips and not just, a catchphrase. It's literally what you are putting into practice. Now, just before we went into the break, we were talking about exactly how there are benefits towards the bank that is applying through you, and of course, how the customer can have benefits as well. Now, I'd like to speak to you about the whole integration issue. I know we spoke about how customers can be benefited by seeing everything in one place, but could you just elaborate further exactly how that integration process has happened and how it truly is beneficial, everyday things for everyday people?
Yes. So as I mentioned, there are so many products, right? So product vertical, if you look at credit cards, loans and investments, and as well as offers and also news, right? If we take a look at certain products, it's very straightforward. Rates can change, and we do a close look, and we have a team checking every day. And the fact that when you say integration, working with the regulators, look at certain policy changes and also some new things to come in future. so that it can also connect it real time through APIs. So that's we are integrable, right? And as we speak right now, we are live and we are catering to many users who gets benefited looking at. Now example, there are new products launched by banks. The number of days deposits, it's new to everyone. 100 day, 200 day, 300 day, even go up to 400 days. Then we used to open deposits for 3 months, 6 months. Those having products that nature and new products coming in also, we have quickly changed and having a proposition separately for those number of days deposits. And would like to look at it, they can check the best rate and also apply, and the features also. So you have an initial minimum deposit to be made, but of course within 100 days you are guaranteed you get your best rate. And also specifically unique credit card offers, and there are now apps also, wallets offers. Also in another place that we have listed again in a very uniform manner, it could be supermarket, travel, clothing, and we are heading towards the season as well. And certain banks offer those offers on certain days. So let's say you have 2-3 cards and you don't know, very difficult to keep those days in mind. Come to any bank and you can create a calendar entry, and then when you create a calendar entry day before, this offer I'm going to get tomorrow, so I have to go. So likewise we have made it so user friendly, so you don't miss those offers. And of course it's a benefit to banks because customers will use it for sure. And that's a channel you don't have to print and popularize. We can we have digitalized it. So, and having said that, we also have green banking. We can talk about it if
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So how green banking works, the moment anybody, any individual, general public applies through us, and when the bank digitalize the account opening, there's no paper involvement. So you apply, you upload your KYC through it. You don't fill out paper based applications. It's all digital, and you submit the application to open the account as well. And that's literally digital green banking, and you don't come to the bank in person and save emission also. So this idea we pitched to a European Union based initiative called Climate Launchpad. We were the champion for last year, and having the Sri Lanka #1 initiative for green related ideas, and it's our green banking concept idea. So that's something validated by, and also we are looking at banks to more focus on digitalize their account opening, digitalize their product portfolios. So you ultimately, a bank will become a fully digital bank. And in the world arena, you might see challenger banks coming in, neo banks coming in to address this as a fully digital bank, whereas brick and mortar banks can also be a digital bank by looking at their entire product portfolio digital.
That's actually a very exciting topic as well, considering how competition can come in. Like we've already experienced this actually, where we have the national resources, but it hasn't been implemented in time, and there's an international competitor that introduces itself locally, and then we have an issue with promoting our own local abilities as well. So brick and mortar banks also can become digital. And now, considering exactly how omnipotent when we think about this product AnybanQ and of course green banking, it's everything under one roof, quite literally everything under one roof. And that also is somewhat of a double-edged sword, I feel like, because now all your information, all the personal information, your banking details, everything is through your portal, and that is a little bit of a cause for concern for some users, laymen. There's always that issue with security where, there are doubts. Now, how does AnybanQ, as a platform promote security, and how do we ensure that our data and our info is all private and secure?
Yes. So, as I mentioned, we actually have listed those products with the banks according to the features and the eligibility. And the moment you click apply now, or to any product for that matter, it goes to the banking channel directly. So as we speak, we are not capturing personal data or their banking data. So being a banker, I know how important it is. There are lots of scams again in terms of account takeovers, and certain approaches have been taken, like capturing the passwords and things like that. It's a huge problem. and I'm sure it's, I think, $1 trillion, $3 trillion, if I'm not sure the numbers, but it's a huge problem worldwide, and that's called cybersecurity as well. So we kept that in mind when we launched it, and we are, as mentioned, I'm reiterating, we are not capturing any data. We are actually tracking the user when they come to our site only up to the point of your clicking the particular application. From there onwards, it goes to the bank portal, so the bank website, so to say. So that's why it's important that bank also have to enhance their security features. I'm sure banks are very critically evaluating those. And the moment if someone is opening the account or submitting their personal details, that happens in the banking portal. So exploration, I mean, we are exploring certain things like how we are going to capture users, and that point in time we are already doing our research how to give the benefit to the end user and protect their data. And if that is the case, they actually I must talk about ICTA support as well. They are very relevant, and they are working and supporting us as well in this journey in various verticals. So one area was also cybersecurity. They had a discussion with us, and they're happy the fact that we are not capturing any data, and also data protection bill was also passed, so we are complying with that. And knowing the fact that it's important to safeguard the personal data. And if I may talk about ICTA support, and recently we got through 2 programs, that's like endorsement of our brand and how relevant it is, and getting through their processes. That's called one program called Spy Relation, and also STEP. So we are in both the programs. We won those 2 titles, and they are supporting actively to access international markets, and also reviewing our progress, and also giving attention to many verticals, ecosystem support. And even next week onwards, there is going to be a Global Entrepreneurship Week, and there are lots of entrepreneurs. We'll get a lot of traction there, including us, and very happy to be in this situation.
That's actually a very advantageous situation, and very timely as well, considering the economic crunch in this country and security on a whole as well. There's a big issue when it comes to that, actually. Now, just as a final question before, we can discuss on this, actually. Now, this is such a vast program. There's a lot of things that can be done. There's a lot of potential. So could you just tell us, on enrolling, we have hopes on exactly how your platform will grow and how we can be benefited in the future. So just tell us about future prospects of AnybanQ and fintech in general, and what it will be like in the future.
At this point in time, I would say AnybanQ is actually at the inception, I mean, very early stages. And I used to mention there is also something globally happening, not similar, but when we look at it, average person will see you are an aggregator. So aggregator concepts are there in the world. They are just aggregating few banks, few products, and giving out. So this is a marketplace kind of a thing which we are inventing, and have put it out, and people actually getting benefited as we discussed. And also within the platform, we never thought, we actually thought pandemic actually really good, right? So we can thrive, and actually we got a lot of traction during that time. And doesn't mean when someone used to get information or get to bank or go to their banks through us, and they'll of course be happy to, because you don't have to literally find the links or the bank products. Even if you're doing transactions, there's a separate online banking section for each bank with the link of their online banking segment, which you can access easily, even for exchange rates for that matter. And with exchange rates, we actually went viral during the fluctuation times, especially with the markets. We have been checked by 165 countries, and so many expatriates, because they don't have a branch to go in person, unless few banks have overseas operations. But if particular bank that you're banking with doesn't have a banking operation, of course you have to come to a online or a marketplace like us. So the marketplace became more popular and relevant within them, and as a result, we actually found now the country is in a situation like this. Why don't we look at a investment opportunity, and also encouraging expats and also to uplift their literacy about remittances, right? And that is an era where everybody was, talking about we won't be sending money to Sri Lanka, and they started
Very
using
negative
any
environment.
very unlawful, illegal means to send money. And also as a country with the new governor, and we met the governor also recently a couple of times, and their attention also now to get to banking system, funds to be transferred to the
Exactly. We
banking
need to
system.
get the money to where the mouth is and, try and lift our situation as much as possible. There's a lot more that we can delve into this topic as well. Unfortunately, our time cuts off here. Thank you very much, Hithesh, for joining us as well. That's all we have for you today. As you can see, that was a very innovative product. Join us again next time as well as we bring you more products that are the best in the business and a cut above the rest. This was Business Best. Thank you for watching.